As the main character of your life, you know how important it is to make the right choices for you and how sweet it is to feel good about your decisions. With the State Farm Personal Price Plan, you have options to help create an affordable price for you so you can continue living your best life. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Hey guys, it's Hannah from Giggly Squad. You know I love beauty, and that's why I go to Sephora. It's not just shopping, it's like a glam experience. The beauty advisors actually get beauty, unlike those big box stores, and they give me all the advice I need. And I love going with the products you can only find at Sephora, like my new favorite Kayali fragrance, my perfect shade of House Labs foundation, and finally restocked my Laneige lip mask. All with the help of real experts. Oh, and if you haven't tried Days shampoo, go try it. It's a game changer. Sephora isn't just a store, it's the beauty destination. Go. You'll thank me later.
We all belong outside. We're drawn to nature, whether it's the recorded sounds of the ocean we doze off to, or the succulents that adorn our homes. Nature makes all of our lives, well, better. Despite all this, we often go about our busy lives removed from it. But the outdoors is closer than we realize. With All Trails, you can discover trails nearby and explore confidently. With offline maps and on-trail navigation, download the free app today.
Ready to elevate your everyday? Quince has the luxe staples insiders swear by, minus the markup. From 100% European linen styles and 14-karat gold jewelry to gorgeous leather bags and elevated home finds, Quince has it all. And by partnering directly with top artisans and ethical factories, Quince delivers premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. Discover everyday luxury without the markup at Quince. Go to quince.com/style upgrade for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/style upgrade.
Welcome to another Daily Tech News Show weekend edition. It's the weekend, so we kind of kick back, we relax, and we just do a single topic on these shows. I am very pleased today to welcome my co-host Robb Dunewood to the weekend edition. Hey, Rob, how's it going?
What's going on, man? What's going on?
This isn't quite chicken wings and beer in SMR terms, but you know, it's more along the road to that way, if you know what I mean.
I definitely do. It's been a minute since we've done that, so this kind of is a nostalgic moment for me.
Yeah, no kidding. So we've had a lot of folks notice that every once in a while you mention your second brain, right? Mm-hmm. I think that comes up quite a bit. And a couple of folks were like, can you do an episode where Rob talks about what that is and how he manages it? Is it in a jar like Spock's brain, or is it something else? So let's start there. What is a second brain? What do you mean by that?
So it's essentially a methodology that allows you to build a digital commonplace book. When you think commonplace book, these are the books like, I think the first place I ever noticed it was in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. You know, his dad, Dr. Jones or Professor Jones, he had that leather book that he sent to his son. And it's just a book. It's not really a diary or even a journal, but it's just a place where you can capture things that stand out to you that you want to remember. You just write them down. And instead of trying to keep everything in your mental Rolodex, you've actually got a physical place you can go to recall things. And the second brain was something that was developed by, I think that the name came from Tiago Forte. People have been doing this kind of stuff since computers have been computers, but sure. He kind of, put a framework behind it, called it a second brain. And it's been catching on ever since probably like the late 2019, like 2018, 2019, 2020. I definitely got into it around 2019, 2020 when I started paying attention to it.
Yeah, so this isn't just something you made up one day. It's something that lots of people have been developing over the years, huh?
Absolutely. It falls into that personal productivity and time management, that type of thing. And for me, it goes back to when I was in high school. I had a teacher, and in fact, I've talked to you about this teacher before. His name is Thomas Crane. You might remember that.
Yeah, Mr. Crane.
Mr. Crane. And he told me once, it's like, you have got a ridiculously good memory. Unfortunately, it's short term. So if you want to actually do well on these tests, as we are in your junior year, your senior year, and definitely when you get into college, you better figure out a way to start writing stuff down. So for me, I got started just doing notes. I became a very copious taker of notes all the way back in the late 80s after I had read a couple books on productivity. It's like, oh, if you want to remember something, write it down. It kind of makes sense. So I've been doing this for a long time. And then what a second brain allowed me to do was, or building a second brain, that's the name of the book that I've read to learn how to do this, was actually take all of those notes and sticky notes and notebooks and all that stuff and put that into my phone, which allows me to put that into a database, which basically means that I can put everything without worrying about having too much stuff.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. So I think that makes it clearer for a lot of people who are like, wait, you're talking about notebooks, and now you're talking about phones. So give us the overview of how a second brain works for you.
So for me, it's pretty straightforward. Anything that is something that I would intend to remember, anything that stands out. So if I hear a good quote, if I see a sign that's really cool that says something on it, if I hear somebody, giving a speech and they make some really good points, anything that I intend to remember, I tend to take a note about it in as close to real time as possible. So for me, it works out that because I was a taker of notes, I took a ton of notes writing in notebooks, from probably like my late teens all the way up until, it became easier to do it on computers. I just write everything down. And over time, what started to happen is that I would write things down on a sticky note or 3x5 card, and then I would just take a picture of it and just have it on my phone. And what became very evident to me is that I have a lot of stuff in a lot of places, and there was just no organization to it. So I would actually take a picture of a coat that I liked, but I couldn't remember where I put the picture of the coat that I liked. I just knew that I had it somewhere. So I would spend enormous amounts of time trying to find, where's that thing that I heard somebody say about this thing that I vaguely remember. And I heard some people talking about Tiago Forte and Forte Labs and some training that they were doing on how you can do this digital note taking in a much more effective way. And I actually took that training. I think it was like it was before the pandemic. So it was like January, February of 2020 in the before times. And I've been a fan ever since.
So how do you manage this? Right. Cause I totally get that. And it's one of the things I was thinking of, like, well, sure, I could take notes and then I put them somewhere, but then how do I make sure that I'm able to find those notes, or they are at my command? Like, how does the recall, I get the storage. How does the recall work?
Well, one of the things is that, and there's some core tenets here. One of them is called CODE. And this is coming directly from Tiago Forte. And CODE is an acronym for capture, organize, distill, and express. So basically, I try to capture in the same tools all the time. My camera app, my second brain is actually built in Evernote. I've been using Evernote for a long time, for many, many years. And although there are other things out there that I've tried, it's just so easy to use on a phone. So everything that I capture in Evernote. I use my phone to take pictures. I'll use tools like, one tool is called Readwise. Readwise allows you to do is basically you take insights from pretty much anything that you read and then put them into a repository. In my case, my Evernote. So I use Readwise to capture things that I would highlight on my Kindle. I use Readwise. There's a companion app called Reader that is kind of like a read it later app. So any links that that I want to capture, I just throw them in the Reader and they automatically make their way into my second brain, which is all housed inside of Evernote. So it gives me one place to go for everything that I've captured, whether I've taken a picture of something, whether I recorded an audio clip of something, whether it was a website link, whether it was a podcast I was listening to. All that stuff eventually makes it into Evernote. And then from with Evernote, that gives me the tool to be able to recall kind of everything that I've done.
So Readwise is like a middle manager, so to speak, right?
Exactly. It's a really cool app. So like, if you're using your Kindle, you can take a highlight of something and it's highlighted in the Kindle. What that will actually do is send that to Readwise. Readwise will then take that highlight and then automatically make a note for me inside of Evernote.
Oh, cool.
So I can be reading something inside of Readwise. and or I should say inside of my Kindle, and then it'll automatically show up in ReadWise with my highlights that I thought were interesting. That's the key piece here. The entire book doesn't just show up. It's the highlight of the paragraph, just the thing that I highlight. And it makes it very easy to recall that and bring it up when you want to use it later.
Picture this. You're in the garage, hands covered in grease, just finished up tuning your engine with a part you found on eBay. And you realize, you know what? I could also use new brakes. So where do you go next? Back to eBay. You can find anything there. It's unreal. Wipers, headlights, even cold air intakes. It's all there. And you've got eBay Guaranteed Fit. You order a part, and if it doesn't fit, send it back. Simple as that. Look, DIY fixes can be major. Doesn't matter if it's just maintenance or a major mod. You got it, especially when things are guaranteed to fit. So when you dive into your next car project, start with eBay. All the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
This summer, Instacart is bringing back your favorites from 1999 with prices from 1999. That means 90s prices on juice pouches that ought to be respected, 90s prices on box mac and cheese, and 90s prices on ham, cheese, and cracker lunches. Enjoy all those throwbacks and more at throwback prices. Only through Instacart. $4.72 maximum discount per $10 of eligible items. Limit one offer per order. Expires September 5th while supplies last. Discount based on CPI comparison. If your dog could talk, they'd beg for Ollie. The full-body tail wag, the excited little hops, the big, goofy grin, that's the Ollie effect. Ollie delivers clean, fresh nutrition in 5 drool-worthy flavors, even for the pickiest eaters. Made in U.S. kitchens with high-quality, human-grade ingredients, Ollie's food contains no fillers, no preservatives, just real food. Just fill out Ollie's 30-second quiz and they'll create a customized meal plan based on your pup's weight, activity level, and other health info. Dogs deserve the best, and that means fresh, healthy food. Head to ollie.com/healthypup, tell them about your dog, and use code HEALTHYPUP to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a happiness guarantee on the first box, so if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/healthypup and enter code HEALTHYPUP to get 60% off your first box. Ready to elevate your everyday? Quince has the luxe staples insiders swear by, minus the markup. From 100% European linen styles and 14-karat gold jewelry to gorgeous leather bags and elevated home finds, Quince has it all. And by partnering directly with top artisans and ethical factories, Quince delivers premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. Discover everyday luxury without the markup at Quince. Go to quince.com/style upgrade for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/style upgrade. Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. That's why a State Farm agent is there to help you choose a coverage option that's right for you. Whether you're getting a new house, car, boat, or RV, helping protect it is important. And State Farm is there to help you choose the coverage you need, whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app. And with so many coverage options, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs, so you can continue to focus on what's most important to you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Okay, so you look at something, you read something, you hear something even, sounds like sometimes, and you say, I want to take a note of that. You get it sent to Evernote. Talk to me about the other side of it when you're like, how does it work as far as getting it out of Evernote, and how does that benefit you beyond just what I'm really curious about are there times when you pull something out that you wouldn't have thought to pull out before?
So one of the keys here, I said that code acronym, the D stood for distill. So one of the things and one of the areas where people really fall down with this type of productivity is that they will capture everything, but they never go back and actually look at the stuff they captured in any type of meaningful way until I think I know I put something somewhere. I just can't remember where I put it. Let me go try to figure it out. So I actually make it a point to at least twice, usually 3 to 4 times a week. I'll actually take 15, 20 minutes and I will just go through all of my recent captures into my second brain and distill them and say, oh yeah, this is something that I really want to keep. This is something that I don't really need. This is something that I probably will eventually use someday. I'll put it into a category that I don't look at all the time, but I know that it's there. And that is, another acronym is called PARA, and it stands for, the P is for, you just asked me to, I forgot what that stands for. I'll have to look that up. But, it's like projects, areas, resources, and archives. And this is one of the things that is very brilliant about the second brain methodology, is that a big problem for me was that I literally would have 1,000 notes and I would have 750 categories for the notes. So it became almost impossible to remember where I put anything. With PARA, there literally are 4 significant categories to my notes. Just think projects are things that I'm working on right now. Areas are things that I'm interested in this stuff. I may not be doing something right this moment, but it's something that I'm interested in. A resource is something I don't necessarily need right now, but it's something that is important to me. I'd like to be able to recall it. And then if it doesn't fit into one of those 3 categories, it goes into archives. But it's basically all flat. And this is where putting things in databases makes this really easy. I don't have to have a significant nomenclature for all of my different folders. It's not like a file cabinet. Everything is pretty flat in one of these 4 categories. And it allows me to really quickly recall. So I don't have to remember where I put something. If I'm working on it, I know that it's a project. If I was recently working on it, it was either a project or an area. If it's something that, came from 3-4 years ago, I just made it a resource if I recall it regularly. And if I don't need it at any point in the near future, I just throw it in archives, and it makes it so easy to find literally everything.
So that's the distill part. We talked about the capture. We talked about the organize. What's the E?
Express. So one of the other things here is that if you are collecting all of this information, but you don't do anything with it, it just becomes a lot of storage. So I do tend to go through and express the stuff that I've captured, whether it be through a podcast or something that I write, a newsletter or whatever. The reason I'm capturing all this information that I think is interesting to me is because I want to use it in some form or fashion later. For me, that's generally content creation. So as part of that code, or the end of it, is that I created all these things. I put all this stuff into my second brain so that I can express it at some point later as a new thought that may be a derivative of 5 things that I may have read over the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever the case is.
So this all makes sense. And I'm actually, I kind of want to apply it to the physical world, not just the mental world, a little bit. Do you find examples where you're like, oh yeah, this is making me more productive? I wouldn't have thought of this. I wouldn't have been able to do this if I didn't have this system.
Oh, absolutely. There's a good quote out there that, brains are for having ideas, not holding them. So one of the things that this does for me is it allows me to get trying to remember everything out of my head, and I can spend more time actually thinking about the things that I no longer have to remember. So if you think of just your mind as you don't have infinite capacity in your mind. You can only remember so much. You can only do so many things mentally at one time. For me, I have completely removed telephone number. I know my telephone number, my wife's telephone number, and my mother's telephone number. That's it. There's no other numbers that I have any idea what they are. But because I don't have any idea, I have a place I can go look them up. I don't have to have an ID. I just have a place I can always go look them up. I do the same thing now with things that I need to remember. I don't need to remember that I have an appointment Tuesday at 4 p.m. It's in my calendar, and I'll get a notification for it. My calendar is also a part of my second brain. Because I don't have to remember it, I can now just think about other things. So what this has really done for me, particularly since I have become a solopreneur of sense, when I've left the corporate world, is that I deal with a lot of people. I talk about a lot of different stuff in a lot of different places. And this gives me the ability to not try to remember all of that intentionally. I don't have to. It's in my second brain, but I have a very, very effective way to recall it whenever I need that information.
Yeah, that comes straight out of the getting things done milieu too, where it's like you identify a thing and then you assign it so you don't have to think about it anymore.
Oh, absolutely.
And the second brain is a great way to manage that part of the process.
So the second brain for me is something I've been doing since probably 2020, but I've been doing productivity stuff like this since like the 80s when I was in high school. Like I said, it all goes back to, a high school. Actually, I had a high school professor named Professor Crane. And when he told me, he's like, hey, you got a great memory, but it's not going to work as well for you when you get to college. You might need to start writing things down. And he carried that moleskin leather bound book that looked like he had it for 50 years with him everywhere. I wasn't doing that, but I did become a fan of those Mead college ruled or quad ruled composition books that I literally would just take all of my notes down in them. And we're talking over time. I probably have hundreds of those notebooks that are just filled up with things that I, to this day, could go back and look and see what I was doing when I was in physics class in, in 2000, not 2000, in 1991, when I was in college. Because I wrote them down. I don't have to remember it. I can go back and I can access it. Now, today, I don't have all that stuff digitized. So it would be a chore to try to figure out which book had which thought in it. But it's all there. At some point, I might try to do that
I was going to
digitize all that and see if see if something comes of it.
Yeah, especially with handwriting recognition the way it is now, and AI being able to like scan and process stuff, it's becoming easier on that end. It's just the physical thing of having to capture. It's the capture that's the slow part there.
Yeah. So for me, the OCR has changed the game for me, because literally everything can go on my phone. It is. You've probably seen me do this. Where what are you taking a picture of? I literally take a picture of menus.
Yeah.
It's like, why? If I like this restaurant, I want to go back to it. Why do I have to remember what they had? Take a picture of the menu and put it in my notes. And if I ever want to go to that restaurant again, I can just pull the menu up and it's right there in front of me. I don't have to remember that. It's something that my phone and my database can remember for me infinitely better than I can do, in my own head.
Do you have a good example of something, in the past couple of months that you went to Evernote and you were like, oh, I need that. And it was there?
I was trying to remember. One of my favorite quotes is from, and I'm trying to remember it now. Normally you don't have to remember these, but I think it is Whitney Young Jr. And it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than have an opportunity and not be prepared. I couldn't remember exactly what it was, exactly who said it, but I knew that it was something that I wanted to tell to someone.
Yeah.
This is just probably a few weeks ago. So I was like, man, favorite quotes. I think it was Whitney Young Jr. Jr. Oh yeah, here it is. And was able to send that quote on to somebody. So that was probably in the last week or 10 days. I use my second brain. I don't even think about it anymore. It is literally something that I use every day. There is, on a good day, there might be 10, 15 things going in it. On a bad day, there's probably 3 or 4 things going in it. But every day it's getting added to. And then at least on Sunday evenings and on Wednesday mornings, I absolutely have scheduled time to distill the information that I've put in. And I usually will throw in 1 or 2 other days when I'm just sitting in the car waiting on somebody, or, in between, waiting for something to happen. And I don't, I've got a little bit, 10, 15 minutes free time. I'll just go through. Oh yeah, I remember when I saw this or did this. And this is all stuff that has happened over the last week or 7 days. But when you can get a few days away from something, you are able to, better determine, do I really need this sticky note of this number for the dog catcher? It's like, I probably don't need to put that in my notes, because who knows if that person would be a dog catcher, whenever I would want to get a dog catcher. I can just literally go to, the Oracle of all knowledge and say, hey, give me a number for a dog catcher. Yeah. So those kind of things, that's where the distillation comes in. I will determine whether or not something that I actually captured that I thought in the time was worthy of being captured actually is. And if it makes it into one of those final 4 categories.
How much time do you spend distilling then on average?
I would say I probably spend no more. It's probably 30 minutes to an hour a week.
Okay. But at a session, it's less than that then.
Oh yeah. It's 10, 15 minutes, at a time.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Because it's like, here's the thing. It's like, every day we go through and somebody will say something to you that was remarkable and you just kind of remember it. The problem is that if you try to remember it 3 days from now, it's like, what did Rob say? That was, so for me, I just stick anything in there. And then 2 or 3 days later, I'll figure out, was that something that I actually needed to keep in there or not?
Hey, it's Paige from Giggly Squad. Real talk. If there's one store that I absolutely love walking around, it's Sephora. It's my total guilty pleasure. They have amazing brands that other people don't have, and I find something great every time I walk in. And there's literally one down the street from me, so I do that a lot. It's so fun to shop in the store and online, and the products are just too good. No regrets ever. For example, one of my favorite beauty brands is Makeup by Mario, who just launched his new lip gloss that I absolutely love. So the next time you're in the market for great beauty, shop all the hottest products and brands only at Sephora.
Out here, we feel things. The sore calves that lead to epic views, the cool waterfall mist during a hot hike, and the breeze that hits just right at the summit. But hey, don't just listen to us. Experience it for yourself. All Trails makes it easy to discover the best of the outdoors, with more than 450,000 trails around the world, points of interest along the trail, and offline maps for always-on navigation. Download the free app today and find your next outdoor adventure.
Yeah. And the key is making it easy to capture, right? That's the hang up, I think, a lot of times is, okay, I want to take a picture of this menu, but then I have to remember to go back and take the menu and put it somewhere. And you've got a system that's like, yeah, I don't have to remember to do any of that.
And that's where the second brain comes in the system to actually capture, organize, distill, and express the information that you stick in there. That's where all this magic happens. And, it took probably 6 months for me to really get used to putting everything in there. What I would have to do is, I remembered this and I didn't put it in my notes. Let me go do it now. So I would find myself doing things outside of as soon as it's said or as soon as it's read, taking a picture. So right now, if I'm in the middle of a conversation with you, I won't say, hey, Tom, stop. I want to record what you just said, but it'll go in there immediately after. But if it was like, if you showed me something, click with the phone, because I literally can take a picture with my phone in under probably half a second.
Yeah.
It's just double click and the pictures, just point my phone at whatever, double click a button and the picture is taken automatically.
I mean, this is a little out there, but when you were talking about this distilling process, I was thinking that is a step in organizing your stuff that would be useful, right? We have no problem capturing things. We go to the grocery store, we go to a retail store, we buy stuff, right? Then some of us are better at the organizing than others, right? So there's probably something there. But how many people go back regularly and look at all the stuff they've acquired and decide, I don't need that anymore. Let me put that on eBay. Let me donate that to Goodwill. That's just trash. Let me toss that in the recycling. I think just managing the amount of stuff in your house would benefit from this.
It does. And I put bills in there. I literally, for me, I put everything into my second brain. And it has gotten to the point now to where I got to have a backup. So I talked about Evernote, and that is my primary, but I also send those, everything also goes to 2 other places, because a whole heck of a lot has to happen for all 3 of these data centers to be down simultaneously and me not to be able to access. I can, it's either going to be it's always in Evernote. It's also going to be in my Google account, and will also be in my Dropbox account. And it's all automated. I don't have to do anything to make that happen, but all of my stuff goes to those places and I can ultimately get to it.
Yeah. And it's your brain. You need to protect that. You need redundancy. Even though it is your second brain, you need some backups of that. That's important stuff, right?
Yeah. And it is, I would say that it has made me significantly more productive than I was before I was employing it, because there would always be, who was that person that I met at that conference? Forgot to write their name down.
Yeah.
And and I'm now spending time trying to remember. That just doesn't happen anymore. When I go, it's like, I'll just take a picture of your badge. I got you. You're here.
I've seen you do that.
It's just something that I do. People aren't freaked out by it at this point. It's like, phones are so pervasive. Yeah. But for me, just being able to take that picture, that is probably 70% of the way that I get stuff into my second brain. It's not me writing something, which I will do, because I do have a phone. Folks say, you're still using Androids. Like, as long as they have styluses in them, I will continue to use it. iPhone has not built a phone yet with the stylus. Therefore, I don't use an iPhone. That is the biggest reason why I've never really tried an iPhone. It's like, once I got the original Galaxy Note, I could not go back to having a phone that didn't have a stylus on it, because I literally take notes on my phone that go into my second brain. And it is worth it to me to be able to do that than to have whatever feature that I could get on an iPhone that I don't have on an Android device.
Well, I'm sure folks have follow-up questions on this, so send them to us, feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. Rob will answer as many of them as he's got time, but he has a little extra time because he's got the second brain. And if we get enough of them, would you be willing to do a follow-up episode on the Q&As?
Oh, absolutely, man. I love talking about this stuff. It is, like I said, it is really changed the way that I just deal with information. Like I said, I'm not brand new to it. I've been taking notes for a long time because I found that to be effective. But it's like, they say, like, what is it? CEOs generally average about a book every week or so. Mm-hmm. How do you remember all that? Well, they take notes. Like most CEOs use commonplace books. So I was like, okay, well, if I'm trying to do that kind of stuff, I probably should do those kind of tasks that they do and write stuff down. And it's been a blessing to me for, to be able to just remember everything by not having to remember anything.
Well, Rob, thanks, man, for taking the time to chat about this. I know a lot of people had questions about it. Like I said, feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com if you got follow-ups. And of course, if you want to follow up with Rob, there's lots of places to do that. He's hosting DTNS Live. He's hosting Daily Tech News Show Briefing on Mondays. And of course, you've got your own projects out there. Tell folks where they can find everything else you do.
Oh, yeah. My baby was launched right on Daily Tech News Show. I think it was 4 years ago during Experiment Week. That would be the Tech John. It's been 4 years. So we are coming up. I think we just did episode 184 this week. So the Tech John is a podcast where we talk about the week's tech. What we talk about is 3 African-American hosts. We talk about it, and we talk about tech in the way that it affects and disaffects the African-American community specifically. So yeah, it's a lot of posts, listen to it. A lot of posts like it. So I really appreciate it if you come take a check out.
And thanks for supporting both of us at patreon.com/DTNS. It's one of the reasons we're able to do these extra episodes and keep things going. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.
The DTNS family of podcasts, helping each other understand.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
If your dog could talk, they'd beg for Ollie. The full-body tail wag, the excited little hops, the big, goofy grin, that's the Ollie effect. Ollie delivers clean, fresh nutrition in 5 drool-worthy flavors, even for the pickiest eaters. Made in U.S. kitchens with high-quality, human-grade ingredients, Ollie's food contains no fillers, no preservatives, just real food. Just fill out Ollie's 30-second quiz and they'll create a customized meal plan based on your pup's weight, activity level, and other health info. Dogs deserve the best, and that means fresh, healthy food. Head to ollie.com/healthypup, tell them about your dog, and use code HEALTHYPUP to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a happiness guarantee on the first box, so if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/healthypup and enter code HEALTHYPUP to get 60% off your first box.
Hey, it's Paige from Giggly Squad. Real talk. If there's one store that I absolutely love walking around, it's Sephora. It's my total guilty pleasure. They have amazing brands that other people don't have, and I find something great every time I walk in. And there's literally one down the street from me, so I do that a lot. It's so fun to shop in the store and online, and the products are just too good. No regrets ever. For example, one of my favorite beauty brands is Makeup by Mario, who just launched his new lip gloss that I absolutely love. So the next time you're in the market for great beauty, shop all the hottest products and brands only at Sephora.